Am I live? It would help if I had the microphone. Am I live? Ah! Lance is here. He says, hey again, Thrash. And Lance, hey to you as always. Good to see you, my man. And I take it from your presence that I am, in fact, live. So moving forward, let's see what else we got there in the peanut gallery. Rachel in the 28 is here. Rachel, so good to see you. She says, hi, I'm here too. Jay-Z is here. He says, first, with what looks like a mutant pineapple or some kind of metal. Either way, welcome to the party. Pardon me, I'm a little wheezy today. I hope I didn't get Mrs. Thrash's cold. Mrs. Thrash is sick as a dog, but I have to think positively. But I'm a little wheezy, so it's probably just allergies. Gary's here, says, hi there, everyone. I'm back. And Captain Caveman. And Jay-Z said COVID or hopefully it's not COVID. Oh, that's heaven. Oh, that's so much better. But hopefully it's not COVID. But thank you for asking. And Lance is here. And Lance says hello and hello to you too, Lance. Lance, did you ever see the Richard Corbin video I posted, man? You haven't posted any type of comment or criticism. I thought you were dead. And Gary says he'd better have allergies. Yes, we'd all better have allergies. Hopefully not fatal ones, though. And Zerbook says, what is my cad? That's a type of fish that swims around Cape Cod. Get it? It's an old Daffy Duck line. My card, you cad. But I did it on the fly. I probably misspelled cad, didn't I? But anyway, it's a cadfish from Worcester. Can you say my sister, Krista, got a blister where you kissed her? And I think while I was pontificating, I missed somebody. Nope, but I have allergies. Everybody's saying hi. What's the cat? Indy Spouts is here and says George Jefferson always liked it when he got a little wheezy. Mrs. Thrash made a similar joke. So great minds think alike. I know what's my excuse. And Rachel says, is it what's happening trivia tonight? Indeed, it is. It is what's happening trivia. And next week is going to be Space 1999 and UFO. I'm almost there. I did some digging. I found some decent trivia that isn't too obscure, more or less. But yeah, I got some goodies, which we'll do next week. And Lance says, a friend of mine's mom died. Oh, I'm sorry your mom's friend died. That's very, very sad. Tug is here. He says, Guten Tag, as opposed to gluten allergy. Sorry. And what was the name of the bad guy? Not the bad guy, the hero, either way. In Fahrenheit 451. Was it Montag? Yeah, it was Montag was the principal character. But anyway, good to see you there, Tugsy Wugsy. Gary says my condolences, and Zuplik says sorry to hear that. A lot of people saying hi to Lance. Emily says hi, y'all. Hey, Emily, how you doing? Oh, you said you had a couple more posts on Facebook that Mrs. Thrash fell in love with. She won't do Facebook herself. She has some mental block, but she's always not that I don't like your stuff as well, but the likes on your stuff that you get from me on Facebook are from, let's just say, from the two of us. And Guy Montag. I haven't read that book in I better read it soon before they burn it. To Emily. Keithy is here as well. He says, hello, Gary Z and everyone else. Good evening. Keithy, good evening to you and our friend Hooper the hippopotamus. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only hippopotamus will do. And Gary says, I was on RNG yesterday. Oh, you were? Oh my God, how's she doing? I haven't talked to her in ages. I am such a terrible fanboy. I just, it's just been one thing after another, and I won't bore you. But thank you. Emily says, please tell Mrs. Thresh thank you for me. I certainly will. I certainly will, Miss M. And Lance wants to know how Emily's doing. And Emily says, still mad I can't work, Lance, but okay. Other than that, very sorry for your tribulations, my lady. And then he wants to know how was the gummy. Ooh, we got gummies? They're legal here in Massachusetts. I didn't know they were legal in your state. And oh my God, Sister Sarah, she says, hi, Pawns. And hi to you too. So good to see you, my lady. A lot of people saying hi to my flock, really superplexes, and Gary. And Tug says, well, I don't feel no pain. So, well, apparently they are legal in your state too. And my flux says to hate a geek, and here's right on. And before we get too far, I had this crazy. I don't know what it is about the people on the internet. I know people are they more angry than they used to, or more stupid? But anyway, here's the situation. Here's the situation. So I get these weird shorts in my suggestion box, not boxer shorts, actual short posts on YouTube, and one of them was it says, "This is a real man. This is how real men are supposed to act," and it's from Step by Step, and it shows the girl from My Two Dads, I forget her name, who's now a co-ed, and she's being hassled by this guy in a bus station, and the kid man shows up and makes the creep get away from her. And I'm like, okay, that's all fine for Hollywood and setting a nice example on TV, but that, for want of a better term, degenerate, was convicted and actually sentenced for crimes relating to domestic violence. He was a piece of, well, I on YouTube and I'm trying to watch my language. He was, and then he has the gall. Years later, he comes out and says, "Oh, yeah, my wife was a drug addict, and I was trying to protect my kids, and the police sided with her." Blah 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 blah. Whatever you did, it was enough to get you not only convicted, and then, all right, isolated interest incident, and you're trying to be the big man here. You violated your probation and ended up spending 30 days in prison. So whatever you did it again. So don't give me this whole, the code man was a decent guy. So, I mean, I like the idea of men protecting women from creeps and bus stations. That's all well and good. But it really grinds my gears that they make a hero out of a creep, because he was a creep in real life. The poor actor in the spot was just an actor. And Hollywood does this all the time. In fact, I could do an entire post on Hollywood heroes who prove to be moral degenerates. I won't because it's depressing. But the thing, I mentioned this casually in the short. I'm like, isn't it odd that we're making a hero out of a guy who's convicted of domestic violence? And I go, watch, I probably shouldn't do this because people are going to come out of the woodwork to defend him and come at me. Oh, was I right? So, what is it with people? I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to let you guys know that there are still decent people in the world. I just can't seem to find many of them, except for you guys. You guys are decent people. I mean, you guys. I mean, all those other people out there. But it's like, is it just me, or do we forget how bad some of these people are just because we really like the show? Anyway, but that's my thought for the day. And while I was pontificating, I think I got way behind, so I'm gonna skim through. And by the way, that isn't politics; that's social commentary. Two completely different things. Anyway, a lot of people saying hi to Keith. Apparently, we like the gummy. All right, here's where I left off. Yeah, we are still doing what's happening. Tug says, "Oh, Sarah, hi, Sarah. Fancy seeing you here." And Tug says, "I knew we should have done Reefer Badness trivia tonight. I can do that down the road, maybe." And let's just see here. I jumped a little, but Keith E says, "Hello, Tug. Glad you survived your vacation. All I ever wanted Emily says, I love me some alpha male videos. And my flock gave us a link. Thank you, my flockies. Please give us links to all who are here who have their own channels, and of course for yourself too. But I'm sure you're way ahead of me. Gary says he had some great pictures. And Tug says, thank you to Keith. And hello, Sarah minus the H. He's allowing for autocorrect. And Tug says, wasn't expecting an impromptu reef react from Thrash. A real react from Thrash. We could do a reefer react. A reefer react. I love it. But a real react from Thrash. Every now and then I just decide that I'm going to get on the soapbox. I can't let everyone else have all the fun, Superplex, do you realize it's called acting? Well, of course, Superplex. It's called acting. And that's what bothers me. Everybody thinks they can't separate the artist from the art. Everybody says blank is such a great person. No, the character he plays is such a great person. He's a horrible person. See under that 70s show. I could do many, many others, but I think that hit the proverbial nail on the proverbial head. But yes, I do realize that he was an actor, and the character, I suppose, if what you're saying is the character's cool. But don't you think it's a misrepresentation when a horrible person plays a good person, and people think the person's good because they play a good person? You see what I'm saying here? And sadly, I think a lot of people on YouTube have trouble to swing, a marvelous thing. Everyone knows it's slinky. It's there. You continue. Lance says, can't see Sarah in my chat. Why? Sarah's giving us another link. Someone just said LOL, but I bipped. Oh, here it is. Tug says LOL. Gary says, you call that acting? And Lynn says, where's Tracy? That's an excellent question. Where's Bubba? And Indy says, the only heroes I can truly believe in usually have pastrami. Was it the Emperor Claudius who said the only lions we have are in the arena? Oh no, we have no arenas. Emily says, Zuper, not if the person has an actual record. Touche, Miss Emily. And Tug says, it's not just you. That's why I brought up. I knew the overwhelming majority of you. Not all, and that's fine. Not all. I'm sure a couple people disagree with me on this one. That's the nature of the internet. But I'm sure most of you wouldn't. But thank you for confirming that. And Sister Sarah says, Zoop, yo. And Tug says, hero worship is always a little creepy at best. For both. For both, I must say, people who worship people they've never met. And I've done that myself. But it's odd and not healthy. As I've grown older, I've kind of grown out of it, but I could not agree with you more. And Gary says, message retracted. And a message retracted to you as well. And my flux says, weed trivia, LOL, Thursday, LOL. Would you like me to do Reefer Madness trivia for this Thursday? I would be happy to. I will do the Reefer Madness trivia, maybe with a few other goodies in there as well. And we'll decide if we want to do it Thursday or Newt. And Gary says, geek, it depends on who it is. And Lynn says, I made brownies. Who wants some? I would love some. Zublik says, what I am saying, Emily, is that we can never know the true personality behind an actor because even in interviews, they are always presenting a front. I couldn't agree with you more. So take people with a grain of salt, what I can say, I mean, I'm an open book. I mean, I am literally, what you see is what you get. Mrs. Thrash, I'll never get her on camera. But what you see is what you get. I don't have an ounce of pretension, and it's not that I wouldn't if I could. I just have a difficult time misrepresenting myself. So over the years, I decided the best thing to do is just act the way I would normally. It's not the best, but it's the best that I could do. And Zubik says, "Oh yeah, I just read that, so forgive me if I don't read it again." Tug says, "I'll buy that for $1 indie." And oh, I think my mouse is dying. Oop, oh, come on. Oh, feet don't fail me now. All right. Uh, yes, I'll buy that for $1. Okay, I think we got it. Gary says, "Not me." Tug says, "Oh, I shouldn't have a brownie." Oh, why not? Why not? And Lance also says, "Why not?" He says, "I wish I had $1 for every actor who is not what the masses think they are." I'll split it with you. Emily says, "It depends on what they're really like as a person and what they did. I can get past religion and politics, but assault, abuse, and the like, no." And Gary says, uh, oh yes, we have no Havanas. We have no Havanas today. We have cheroots and I can think of another cigar off the top of my head to save my life. But yeah, Rachel said never meet your heroes. You know, it's so funny. When I went to England, I wanted to try to find Brian Aldiss and try to get his autograph and meet with him. And I the folks we were staying with says I wouldn't do that if I were you, and I'm sure they were probably right. With the pity because everything I heard about Brian Aldiss was he was a very nice person, but I probably just freaked him out to be honest with you. I'm your number one fan. And Len says, "Tug it triple chunk brownie." Ooh, triple chunk brownies, love it. And Keith says, "Tug, my fraternity used to have me make the brownie mix, and then what they did with it, I didn't ask." They ate it. Doug says, "You talked me into it, Lance. I'll have one. And you can keep it." And Emily says, "But are they special brownies, Lance?" And Gary says, "You bet they are." And Lance says, "Maybe." You little scamp. And Rachel says, "Oh, yeah, never meet your heroes. This is where we came in." And I keep jumping, but I think I made it. Zublik says, "As a rule of thumb, always maintain your suspicions when it comes to show business people." And Gary Cameron says, "I can't eat brownies." Tug says, "Sarah, I vote enthusiastically yes to Thrash's suggestion." Oh, okay, that's one vote for yes. Like I said, I'll have it ready either way. And then he says, "Speaking of reefer, I suspect there's going to be a certain band reference in tonight's trivia." And Gary Carpenter says to Lance, "I'm allergic to dark chocolate." Oh, legit. I almost made a joke about dogs. Oh, you dog. See what I did there? I can't eat brownies. Oh, you dog. But all kidding aside, I'm sorry about your allergy watch. I mean, he's here. It says, "Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late." No, you are right on time. You're right on time. We're just busy pontificating. So good to see you, my brother. And well, apparently it blew up when you said hello. So, oh yeah, here we go. If I miss anybody, I'm sorry, but I'm going to pick up with Tug says me discovering that chocolate allergies are a thing, and Gary says white chocolate I can eat, racist, and Emily says, "Can you drink coffee, Gary?" That's a good question. If it's dark chocolate, he's probably okay, but and Wajimine says that would suck to have a chocolate allergy. Oh, would it ever? And Tug says, "I always feel that way about the continued beloved celebrity status of Mike Tyson." And oh, I jumped again. Holy cow. Oh, actually, I think I'm caught up again. I'm going to skim down. Oh, music, movies, and more with Brian is here. He says, "Hey there, Thrash Music, Movies, and Brian. Hello, good to see you." Sarah, please a link for this young man here. Check him out if you haven't. Keith, he says, with a what looks like a purple peace sign. "In the hotel business, you learn all about what stars are nice, who's okay, and who is a complete evil." I believe it. Lance has a peanut allergy, or at least he's saying that would suck. Yes, it certainly would. Um, the book says, "Remember Michael York T-Pawns?" Michael York. Yes, I remember Michael York. Um, I'm trying to remember specifically what story about him you're referring to, but I do remember Michael York. Um, the hero worship thing we were talking about. Well, I was a fan of his. I can't really call him a hero. It was a tremendous letdown. Yeah, I had been a fan of his since I was a little kid. I saw him in the Three Musketeers. Me and my buddies were the Three Musketeers because guess what? There were three of us. And I thought he was great in it. I loved the movie. Probably what turned on to history in the first place. And for those of you who don't know, Austin Powers 2 would just come out, and I was working for the movie store. And I was in either Minneapolis or Las Vegas for a convention. Let's call it Minneapolis. I think it was that one, the first one. And there was a line out the door to get Vern Troyer's autograph, but there were a handful of true movie buffs that were waiting in line for Michael York's. And well, I know celebrities by and large hate doing those movie promotional tours. They want to just get their paycheck for the movie and go on their life, but they're required to do X amount of promotional spots. And he's there and he's got his stack of 8 by 10 black and white glossies, and he's just kind of scribbling and pushing and scribbling and pushing and scribbling and pushing like Steve Allen in Vision Quest. Galaxy Quest. Vision Quest is also a good movie though. And anyway, I take my 8 by 10 black and white glossy and I look at him and I just want to say something. And I say, "Hey, been a fan of yours since I saw in Three Musketeers." And he just went, "How does that sound?" With what I can only describe as militant apathy. Like he couldn't pretend to try to care. And I went, "Hmm, I'm gonna go say hi to Vernon Schroyer, who actually cared." God rest. But anyway, so yes, Zoop, great story, and I told it at your bequest, which you didn't, but I interpreted that as a tell the story. Pons, tell the story. Oh, okay. And Brian is saying hello to Wajameen, and Gary says, "I've had peanuts, but I don't like peanut butter." And Emily says, "I don't care what kind of person Ryan Reynolds is because I will never wear blinders if I must." Oh, I'm sorry. Because I will wear blinders if I must. Okay, little difference there. And Rachel says, "Everyone says really good things about Adam Sandler and Keanu Reeves. I believe in them. Everyone else is, I just assume they are bad." I've known some people who've met Adam Sandler. So I've had firsthand accounts that he's a pretty decent egg. As far as Keanu Reeves go, I've never met anybody personally, but I've never heard a bad thing about him. But my Mrs. Thrash followed him for a while on Twitter or something, and actually sent her some nice messages. But we were never sure it was really him, so there was some debate. One time he asked for her password and bank routing number, but anyway, he was investing in some African junta. Lance said, "Oh, peanut butter. I already read that one. Sorry." Oh, the entertainment headquarters here says, "Hello, Thrash. Hello to you too, my son. So good to see you." You guys all know Kevin Lambert from the entertainment headquarters. This coming Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Check it out. We're going to be talking about 50s and 60s TV show. I believe we decided on 60s, but we'll probably work in some 50s TV as well. We remember we've been talking about doing a show on 50s and 60s television, the early days of television, and we're finally going to try to do it Tuesday at 6 p.m. So it says, "Was Vern Troyer as bad as he was?" No, no, Vern Troyer. It was sort of early in his explosion of his career, and he was signing autographs, and he had a couple people helping him because couldn't really reach across the tables. And he was so cute. He was standing on a chair on the other side of this table, and he had a couple people in his entourage helping him. And people are just, oh, hi, I think you're great. Hi, I love Austin Powers. And he was doing a show at the time. He had a supporting role on this other show with Jake Busey, and I forget who else is in it, but it was about a struggling ska band called Shasta McNasty. And Vern Schroyer owned the seafood shack they hung out at, and it had just been picked up for a second season. And as I picked up my glossy and kept walking, I go, "Hey, congratulations on the show being renewed." And as if he couldn't believe it himself or couldn't believe that people followed his career, he said, "Hey, thanks." And I'm like, I made his day, or at least he cared what his fans thought. But no, he was actually nice. And again, I don't blame Michael York. They hate doing those promotional spots. But again, I'd been a fan of his since I was 7. He could have at least gone, "Thank you." Just "thank you" would have been sufficient. I mean, thank you is less words than, "Oh, is that so?" He put in more effort to be apathetic. So anyway, I just jump, but I'm gonna try to get back to where I was. We gotta get right back to where we're started from. Um, wow, I'm way behind, but I'm gonna catch up or die in the attempt. Here we are. Brian says, punch the like button. Thank you. A lot of people saying hello to one another. I'm going to skim through. Keithy says, oh, hello to Wajmin. Uh, he's just going to say hello later on in the night. Gary says, I can drink French vanilla sugar free decaf coffee, Maxwell House. But why would you? Waterbean says, I can be invisible sometimes. LOL. Not to me. You're always here in my heart. And Emily says, Gary, so it's the caffeine you can't have. Um, that's a good question, but that's like my mom can have caffeine, but it's not a chocolate allergy, so it could go either way. And Kevin says, "Look out for me and Thrash this Tuesday talking about '60s television shows." There we go. There you go. So it's you've gotten an invite from both of us. So there's no favoritism here. And Zerbook says, "Did you enjoy Cabaret? Un cabaret de cabaret." Possibly my favorite musical as a kid, next to Grease. Well, you forget history buff, World War II history here. And I had kind of a crush on Liza Minnelli, and Joel Grey was outstanding, and Michael York was outstanding in that movie as well. And was it wrong though that my favorite musical number was "Tomorrow Belongs to Me"? Me and my friends tried to sing it during our graduation. More of a slam to our school, but yes, I love Cabaret. Seen it many times, many times. Keith, he says, "What do you call a cow that just gave birth? Decaffeinated." That's actually I'm going to steal that one, by the way, and take credit for it. Brian says, "Show Thrash some love and hit the like button." Thank you. A lot of people saying hello to one another. So I'm just going to scroll. And says, "What do you call an Italian priest in a bowl? A pasta salad?" Oh, Form Content is here. It says hello to Gary. Hello, Form Content. So good to see you. Zuberlik says, and get Vern. Naughty, naughty. Word we can't say. I use the term Judas option. And it's colorful and clear. And Keith, he says, I just got a $10 tip from Tom Selleck. Oh, very nice. Very nice. And he says, I assume you mean Tim Allen. I said Steve Allen, didn't I? Love Steve Allen, great comedian. Speaking of 50s TV, and then they brought his show back in the 70s. But speaking of 50s TV, Steve Allen, great influencer. Yes, indeed, I meant Tim Allen. I'm so sorry. It was still a good story, though. Although I wouldn't have minded meeting Steve Allen too. No, again, great TV innovator. Zublik says, I would love to meet Viggo Mortensen. Who wouldn't? Emily says, I feel like Keanu Reeves is mostly to himself. I've heard a few people say that, but he's always been very, very nice to people. Honest to God, I think Keanu Reeves is sort of like Johnny Carson. I think in real life, Keanu Reeves is very shy. He's very intelligent, and I think he tries to project a nice image. But I think when he's not acting, I think he's a shy person. It's hard to imagine that because he's so bombastic in his roles. But based on what I've heard about him, yeah, I heard he's actually shy around people. Oh, gonna be a blast, Kevin. It certainly is. It certainly is. Oh, and Lynn says Dave was supposed to do a stream at 8:30. Guess he canceled. Oh, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought it was going on tomorrow. I must have misunderstood. But and either way, that's too bad. Maybe his son's back from college or something. I don't know. But either way, I'm sorry Dave had to cancel. And Zuplex says 7:22. Wow, it's 7:30 now. I'm way behind. And Gary says he does that most times, and gonna be blessed. And Emily says I'm so excited when I remember people's names on here. Me too. I get them wrong a lot. And Kevin says Thrash is gonna uh WDU at 8 me on the 60s TV. Some of them are going to be British too. There are a lot of shows from 60s British TV that I love as well. Zublik says, "I'm my bad. I meant badass." And Emily says, "He's gonna what, Kevin?" And then he says to Emily, "I'm guessing, oh, educate. Ah, I'm guessing edu is a. I thought it was edu." And I'm like, what's an EDU? Is it some new birth control device? um, educate. Thank you, because I was a little confused myself. And I'm gonna skim real quick because I'm way behind. Oh, Rachel Latoya says I met Alan Rickman in a chocolate shop in Vancouver. He seemed very nice. That is an awesome story. John Doe's here. Says I have arrived. John Doe, so good to see you, my brother. Welcome to the party. It was actually Toronto, and Emily says she was very lucky. And Gary says, it is the caffeine I can have, but the chocolate, it turns my stomach ick. What is the thormium bromide? It ironically, it's probably the thing that makes dogs sick too. Humans can be allergic to it too. Thromium bromide, or it's some weird chemical which I can't say and don't really know. And Zubik says no T-pawns. Was that no to watching the video or just no to me in general? And Brogo is here says hello everyone. And Lynn says I got to hug Danica Patrick, the NASCAR driver. That is really cool. Actually, she's cool. And a lot of people saying hello to Brogu, and Brogu saying hello to us. A little hello here and a hello there. Here a hell, there a hello, everywhere a hello. And Rachel says, I didn't recognize it first, only when he spoke. LOL. He had that great voice. He took the last balsamic vinegar chocolate, but asked me if I wanted. That was very nice of him. Oh, yeah, race car backwards is race car. Yes. And he says, I so would have asked to share it with him. Oh, that's sweet. And somebody says, hello, supposedly say the human race. Yes, I did say the human race, actually. And Emily says, nothing, she just jumped off the page. Damn it. Um, she says, I still don't know what Wedge and Brogu's real names are. I don't know what my real name is. And he says now he's going back up to space so he won't have to hassle with the human race. Love it. Flash. And Lynn said 5 legs and 15 here. Come on, guys, we can do better. Yes, we certainly can. And Wadamin says the only famous person I have met is Michael Damian and John Cougar. Those are cool people. And Gary says, I've met Catherine Bach and Jaws from the James Bond movie. That is awesome. Two people have been in Bond films, actually. Wow, that's really cool. And Brogan says, Thrash, tell my friend Godzilla to your right that he's my favorite. Yes, he's Brogu says he's your favorite. Mine too, little buddy. And Emily says, Wedge, I'm honestly surprised I never ran across Michael Damian. He has family in my hometown. Wow, small world. Theobromine. Theobromine. I should have just asked you, Indy. I should have just asked. I'm sorry. I thought I could get it eventually, but it's like just like all intelligent life on Earth. Just keep banging those rocks together, boys. And John Doe says, as a kid, I did some work for ABC, NBC, and MTV, so I've seen a lot of celebrities. Wow, I imagine you would. That's really cool. Zibuk says, no, that is all right to love the song Tomorrow Belongs. Oh, no, it's all right to love the song Tomorrow Belongs Tomorrow. I won't sing it. I don't want to copyright strike for all things. But thank you, Superplex. It is. It's a great musical. And Kenneth Wilkinson, Christopher's here. He says, good evening. And good evening to you too. And Tug says, real names still feel weird to me on the internet. You're right. Honest to God, I feel weird calling you Eric. I do. I will, but every time you introduce yourself as Eric McGill, I'm like, who? But yeah, when people say my name, it takes me an extra moment to realize they're talking about me. No, I more than understand, my brother. Cindy Diaz here says, hello, back from vacation. I went to Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville in Kansas City. So much fun. We have a Margaritaville on Cape Cod now, too. He used to love Martha's Vineyard back in the day. A lot of people saying hello and welcome back. And Keithy says, I like number 6. And then I got lost in the hallway giving back here. Number 6 says, I'm not a prisoner, I'm a free man. You know, my last name is actually, now I'll explain that one someday. And Lynn says, Tug says, who Lance? Oh, right. Face the Ace is here. Says, hello, Ponce. Face the Ace. So good to see you. Welcome to the party. And I'm going to have to really skim because I'm still way behind. Indy says that may be the first time Flash Gordon has been confused with Rapture by Blondie. Well, I was just sticking with the Flash, motif, but yeah, Rapture. I saw Blondie. At one of those conventions I was talking about where the people meet face to face, feet to feet. And Tug says, love Margaritaville. Used to go to the one in Key West. I did that on a purpose. Okay, I'm skimming down. If I miss anyone's important comment, please, I apologize. A lot of people are saying hello. John says the Electric Lady land is close by. If you know about the place, no, I'm not familiar with it. Michael's Drones is here. It says hello, Thresh Bondo. So good to see you, Michael's Drones. Great to see you. Great to have you with us. Thank you. And he says, I feel like we're stretching out this convo to avoid what's happening in trivia. Good work, everyone. Possibly, but I'm catching up. Hey, buddy, you ahead? No, but I'm catching up. Brogy says race car backwards is race car forwards. I learned that from The Extraordinary Attorney Woo on Netflix. Too cool. And Tug says, Indy, it was in the memo. You didn't get it. And I'm caught up, except everyone's saying hello to Michael, amongst others. I saw someone say hello. Is Tracy here? I saw someone say hello to Tracy. Is Tracy here? Well, I will say hello to Tracy in spirit. Hello, Tracy in spirit. And since I'm caught up, John Doe says, Clue, Electric Lady, land, excuse me while I kiss the sky. Purple Haze. It's a Jimi Hendrix themed restaurant. What do you mean says palindrome? I palindrome. I palindrome. I. Rachel says Attorney Woo was so good. Zublik says hello to Tracy in spirit, and he says to Tug. Unfortunately, some nerd put it in Klingon, and he thought Tupac. And anyway, Doug says a nut for a jar of tuna. Is that Klingon? Tuna. And everyone's saying hello to Tracy in spirit. Oh, John says that's where he recorded his albums. And owns half. I honestly did not know that. That's very cool, but I did not know that. I did not know that. And oh yeah, Sean Innes is MIA. Hello to Sean Innes in absentia, and anyone else we can think of. Lisa Fields, Baked Bean, Alex in the house, pretty much anyone. But hello to everyone in spirit. Yes, it has been a while since we've seen Sean Ennis, hasn't it? I saw him on Dave last time, but I haven't seen him in here in some time. I think sometimes he watches in replay. I don't know if he has to work or he's just busy. Keithy is 0 out of 10. He's just getting ready. But yeah, I'm sure Sean Ennis will make it back. But he oftentimes watches in replay. But hello, Sean. Good to see you in replay. Anyway, as I'm getting even farther, oh, Emily just said something. Emily says, Waj, don't follow me tonight on trivia. I suggest you copy from Rachel or Cindy. Oh, and Cindy, it's actually what's happening trivia. And John Doe says Electric Ladyland is a famous recording studio. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the term. I may have heard it at some point, but thank you for filling me in. So Luke says, "Hello, Spike Spikerson in spirit." Yeah, I haven't seen him in years. I heard he changed his moniker, but someone got onto it. I can't remember what supposedly the other name was, but that person fell off too. So, but anyway, we haven't seen Spike Spikerson in years. But blast from the past. But anyway, tonight is going to be what's happening in trivia in the spirit of the loss of Miss Spencer. And as always, I shall do them in no particular order. Number 10. Miss Spencer actually also appeared, in addition to what's happening, on what TV variety show? Was it A, Tony Orlando and Dawn, B, The Brady Bunch Hour, C, Pink Lady and Jeff, or D, The Donnie and Marie Show? And I shall repeat. In addition to starring on what's happening, Miss Spencer actually also appeared on what TV variety show? Was it A, Tony Orlando and Dawn, B, The Brady Bunch Hour, C, Pink Lady and Jeff, which actually is just called Pink Lady. In fact, it was called Pink Lady and Jeff in the States back when they had it in Japan. It was just called Pink Lady. In the contracts they signed, the show was just going to be called Pink Lady. And when the Japanese people found out that they were calling it Pink Lady and Jeff, they were going to sue. I'm not making this up. They were actually going to sue. But the show was canceled so early on, I guess they figured there was just no money in it. So they didn't bother. But or D, Donnie and Marie. I hope that little additional factoid helped the situation. I see a lot of answers. Watchbean says every time I watch Pink Lady, I keep waiting for Mothra to show up. Mothra, Mothra, which is actually sung, and I only found this out in the last year. It's actually sung in Indonesian, which is why I always wondered if they're translating the Japanese into English, why don't they translate the Japanese song? Because it's non-Japanese. So they just know Mathuraya, Mathuraya. What I thought was so funny about that was when the Japanese producers, they came clean. They go, they don't really speak English. And everybody thought it's like, oh, in the same way, Charo doesn't really speak English. Well, they speak it, but it's like a difficult second language with them. No, they spoke not a word of English. Not a word. Every line you saw was just lines they memorized phonetically, which is why they had no delivery of any kind. It's like their English is almost as good as my Mandarin. And the joke's in there for you, too. I only speak Cantonese. Chit chat. Oh, anyway, I should probably answer the question. The correct answer is B, the Brady Variety Show. And Tug says, my son loves that song. I don't have the heart to tell him who sang it because he's allergic to peanuts. Speaking of peanut allergies, that's too funny. That's too funny. And they, I believe, actually spoke English. It should have been Peanuts and Jeff, or Peanuts and Jelly. Peanut butter, and jelly. Peanut butter, and jelly. Now, number 9. Indeed, this one's for you. This music group made a guest appearance on the show. Was it A, the Tramps, B, the Bee Gees, C, the Commodores, or D, the Doobie Brothers? I shall repeat. This music group made a guest appearance on the show. Was it A, the Tramps, B, the Bee Gees, C, the Commodores? Oh, that's for the Hungry Jerk, by the way. He was a background dancer for the Commodores for some time. And D, the Doobie Brothers. And should I even bother to wait? Everyone seems to know the answer to this one. The Doobie Brothers. And that was a two-part episode, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a two-part episode. Number 8. This super cool dude plays the Thomas's estranged dad. Was it A, Theodore Wilson, B, William Marshall, C, Brock Peters, or D, Thalmuth? I'm a Thalmuth. Thalmuth Raskula. One more chance, please. Rashuala. Rashuala. Thalmuth Rashuala. I will try to repeat. This super cool dude plays the Thomas's estranged dad. Was it A, Theodore Wilson, B, William Marshall, C, Brock Peters, or D, Thalamus Rashula? I'll give you a hint. It's the guy with the really cool name. Oh, Michael says to everyone, just remind everybody in the chat, please don't forget to smash the like button for our awesome host. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, please give Michael's drones a link. For those of you who haven't checked out his stuff, it's really good. Please check him out. And he says Thalamus also played the Doctor in Blackula, which is funny because it was William Marshall, by the way. Marshall, Will, and Holly, who played Blackula. And yes, it was D, Thalamus. Oh, I can't pronounce his last name. It's really cool. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. Everyone tell Mrs. Thrash you hope she feels better. I'm sure they're all going to say it, so. But, yes, and Brock Peters was actually the badass police precinct chief in Soylent Green. Oh, but while we're on the subject, wasn't Theodore Wilson the guy who tries to blackmail Roger and his friends into taping the Doobie Brothers concert? I think it was. He did a couple episodes of the show playing different characters, and I think that was him. But anyway, moving forward, number 7. Mr. Thomas, in addition to playing Roger in What's Happening and also What's Happening Now, could you not cough so loud, please? I'm trying to do a live show here. No, oh, I shouldn't have done that. She's laughing now, and every time she laughs, it hurts. So yeah, she's like, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made you laugh, hon. Love you, love you. Ooh. World number one, apparently. Um, uh, I'll start that one over. But oh, and everyone's saying hi to me. Oh, she's already left the building. Well, the room. Hopefully not the building. Anyway, Mr. Thomas, in addition to playing Roger in What's Happening and What's Happening Now, also appeared in this follow-up TV series. Was it the Sanford Arms? A. B. Make Room for Granddaddy. C. That's My Mama Now. Or D. Trapper John. I shall repeat. Mr. Thomas, in addition to playing Roger in What's Happening and What's Happening Now, also made an appearance in this follow up TV series. Was it A, The Sanford Arms, B, Make Room for Granddaddy, C, That's My Mama Now, or D, Trapper John? Doug says, Cthulhu, I can't believe autocorrect didn't catch that. I didn't even get the joke, but I love it anyway. Everyone's saying Mrs. Right. I'll pass it on. Thank you, guys. You actually got me to chuckle out on that one. Well done. Oh, Brock Peters was in Deep Space Nine. I did not know that. And yes, Lance, Theodore Wilson was Sweet Daddy from Good Times. Emily says, how's your niece? And Brogu says, that's my mama now. Yes, that is correct. That's my mama now. Was the show. Oh, Tab is here. Tab is here. He says, hey. I'm sorry you missed the first few questions. You can always catch them in replay. But the correct answer is actually C. That's my mama now. Who Theodore Wilson was also in. Now that we mentioned it, he played the best friend. Number 6. And then we'll get scores. Then we'll get scores. Yeah, we'll get scores. No, wait, hold a second. You know what? We'll just get scores when I'm good and ready. Number 6. The series was ultimately canceled due to this issue. Was it A, pay disputes, B, writer's strike, C, poor ratings, or D, the hostage crisis? I shall repeat. The series was ultimately canceled due to this issue. A, pay disputes, B, a writer's strike, C, poor ratings, or D, the hostage crisis. Lynn says Robert Duvall was also in To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, he was. He played Blue early role for him. I believe he had been done other stuff before that, but it was a very early role for him. And yet, the thing is, we are at 6, so we will do. For some reason, I thought I'd only read 4 questions, and I had only read 4 questions. 6 was the 5th, and the correct answer was yes, a payroll dispute. First, they had massive payroll renegotiations with Roger and a rerun. And but that was finally settled. Rerun actually tried again, and they were just like, "That's it, we're done. We're not going to keep arguing with you over payroll." Um, were they right or were they wrong? I'm not going to take sides. I will tell you they were kind of doing very well in a show, and renegotiation of contracts is not unheard of. So I'm sure they weren't being paid what they deserve. So hey, how about some scores? Tug says he's also in this movie you might have heard of called 1978's Invasion of the Something or Other. Yes, yes, he is. And of all things, he plays a priest on a swing set, which isn't the creepiest thing you see in that movie either. It's up there though. And Rachel is 4 out of 5. Zuplex is 1 out of 5. Cindy says rerun rerun wanted more money. That's why he wasn't in What's Happening Now either. Emily's 3 of 5. Tug is 2 of 5. Brogu was 4 of 5. Tab is 2 of 5. Yeah, but you got here late. Cindy is 4 for 5. My flex says I got lost. I must have got lost somewhere down the line. Gary says John Amos was fired from Good Times because he wanted more money. Actually, no. They gave him more money. They gave him a leading actor's salary. He still wanted more airtime. He couldn't stand the fact that JJ was just peacocking back and forth. Originally, the concept of the show, it was going to be like Father Knows Best in an urban setting. But unfortunately, the fans loved watching JJ. So, in the same sense, like Hawkeye and MASH, or Gary Coleman in Different Strokes. Yes, I was singing in my head. They caved to public opinion, and John Amos couldn't stand it. I don't blame him. It must be insulted to be, sidelined in your own show. That's the reason Guy Williams left Hollywood. Because again, Swiss Family Robinson in space, and it turned into the uh, Dr. Smith and Will Robinson show. And I don't blame him, but in any event, Watch Me is 2 out of 5. I missed the first three because of spider issues. Oh dear, more sympathetic I could not be. Number one granddaughter, she came home. She was away for this weekend. She came home, and they found a spider in her room, and I guess it was like a and she is like afraid to come back in her room now. So it's like a more understanding I cannot be. Happening was when I lived in Osterville, we have those, they call them wolf spiders here. And when I was in Osterville, my screen was broken. And I had come home once, and there was a wolf spider on my screen, and I went to smash it, and it jumped, and it landed on my carpet, which just happened to be wolf spider brown. And I couldn't sleep in my room for 3 days. So more sympathetic I cannot be. But anyway, Indy says I just looked up. That's my mama now, and Ernest Thomas was not in it. Bob. Okay. He was listed somewhere. Everyone give yourself an extra point if you got that one wrong. Let's see what's going on here. 7. If you got number 7 wrong, give it to yourself. And I'm sorry. So everyone gets an extra point, unless you already got it right, in which case you have the same number of points that Gary's 3 of 5. And Lance says still have the Twilight Zone DVDs. Oh, that's so cool. That's cool. And Emily says, would you want to smash a wolf? Emily says, why would you want to smash a wolf spider? Why? Because they look like small tarantulas. That's why I would have wanted to smash it. And Doug says, well, then it's 3 of 5. And Cindy says, he was okay. Emily, I liked Michael and Thelma better. Michael was great, and Thelma was gorgeous. I'm sorry, she really was. She really was. And Gary says Esther Roll was a great actress. She really was. She truly was a great actress. She was in an episode of Dark Room, and she was absolutely amazing. She was in it with why can't I think of his name? He played Washington in Welcome Back, Carter. He played the father in the made-for-TV miniseries about the Jacksons. But she plays a voodoo priestess, and she's awesome. She's awesome. And I think she even reprised the role in an episode of Amazing Stories or something too, or basically played the same character, but I'm pontificating. Brogan says, hey, Thrash, I see you're Godzilla to your right, and I was just wondering, do you remember how there used to be a lot of Godzilla movies played during the Labor Day weekend? Yeah, I think the Sci-Fi Channel did Godzilla on Labor Day or something. I remember something, maybe even the Comedy Channel. But my understanding is since the new movies have come out, the rights to the old one have gone through the ceiling. And Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. Thank you, Lance. And Indy. And I'm sure other people down the road. Voodoo is an interesting practice. Yes, it is. Oh, Christopher, you say, oh, good night. Oh, Christopher, hey, have a great night, man. It was so good to see you. Take care. Let me know next time you and your dad are going to be on Cape Cod. If I'm around, maybe we can all stop by and say hi, get an ice cream or something. And Gary says, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. But anyway, picking up from number 5, Mama, Mabel King, had a supporting role in this musical. Was it A, The Wiz, B, The Blues Brothers, C, Bugsy Malone, or D, The Ruttles, All You Need Is Cash? Cindy says they were the best, though. Gary Carpenter, I only liked JJ Comedy when he posted the talent shows, hosted the talent shows. I'm guessing that's what that meant. And Keith E says Esther Rose walked out of a psychic friends network and got hit in the head with a brick. Esther Roll walked out of a psychic friends meeting and hit with a brick. That's too crazy to not be true. Anyway, I will repeat the question, but that is a great thank you, Keith. That is a great bit. That's just like wild. But anyway, Mama Mabel King had a supporting role in this musical. Was it A, The Wiz, B, The Blues Brothers, C, Bugsy Malone, or D, The Ruttles, All You Need Is Cash? And I don't know why I bothered to repeat it because you guys already know this one, apparently. Yes, it was The Wiz. She played the Wicked Witch. And I got to tell you, No Bad News is my favorite number on the whole soundtrack. And I love The Wiz. I love the movie. I loved it since I was a kid. And I think, yeah, I went to see it with my best friend at the time. But anyway, I loved that movie. And my favorite number is Don't Bring Me No Bad News. No bad news. No bad news. Anyway, but yes, A. Number 4. The dance I'll come in again. The dance group Mr. Berry belonged to outside the series, yet made an appearance in the TV show's universe, were the A, the Tramps, B, the Rockets, C, the Hoofers, or D, the Sunday Steppers. Mama, ooh, queen. I'll come in again. The dance group Mr. Berry belonged to outside of the series, yet made an appearance in the TV show's universe, were the A, Tramps, B, Rockets, C, Hoofers, or D, the Sunday Steppers. Doug says, the way he starts with "Mama" makes me think. Makes me want to sing "Just Killed a Man." Mama, just killed a man, or not the mama, not the mama. Boy, I never thought that would go away. And City says hosted. LOL. Thanks, Thrash. There've been a lot of misprints and typos and me just flubbing lines tonight, but we have fun. We have fun. And Gary says The Wiz was her last movie. Mabel Smith's last movie was The Wiz? I did not know that. I did not know that. Did go went extinct. Classic. But yes, the correct answer is, well, hang on a second. What did I just we're still talking about the last question. B, the Rockets. And I actually didn't I found this out when I was doing research. Apparently, the Rockets were an actual dance group at the time, and Barry did appear with them. In fact, I think he may have put them together, but at the very least, he belonged to this dance group, and they had an appearance in the show. And remember, the whole joke was they wouldn't use him because he was too fat, even though Mr. Barry was a phenomenal dancer. Anyway, number 3. This cast member briefly had their own series. Was A. Deirdre, B. Shirley, C. Freddie Rerun Stubbs, or D. Dwayne Wayne Nelson? I shall repeat. This cast member briefly had their own series. Was it A. Deirdre, B. Shirley, C. Freddie Rerun Stubbs, or D. Dwayne Wayne Johnson? Indy says wrong again, Gary. She was in the Jerk following year. I knew she was in the Jerk. I honest to God, I couldn't remember which one. The Wiz had to have been first, yes, because I think I was in third grade when I saw The Wiz and the Jerk. I was actually not old enough to watch the Jerk when it came out, but it came out when I was in like sixth grade. Yeah, it was considered too risque for me when I was like 12 years old because of various adult things they talked about. Although I when I finally did get to see the movie, I think I saw the first time edited for television. You know, one of those things where they put it on. Uh, they used to put it on TV and they would take out some of the more risque lines. But anyway, I digress. It is Shirley. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and Indy, I'm talking to you, but anyone else can join in. I believe, speaking of Deidre, I believe she was considered. They wanted to do. Remember in What's Happening Now? She goes off to college. In fact, there's a whole episode where she brings a couple of her sorority sisters. She's pledging a sorority. She brings them home and they mistreat her terribly, and she ends up not joining the sorority. I had heard they were considering her to do a spin-off about her college experiences. And the show wasn't picked up, but was repurposed with Lisa Bonet and became a different world. I don't know if that's anecdotal or if that's true, but I believe a different world was actually conceptualized for Deidre, and it wasn't given to her for whatever reason. Probably different networks, but either way. Or my guess is, if I remember correctly, Lisa Bonet had to get it at Dodge. She was still under contract, but she had to get it at Dodge because Cosby went buku bat guano over her appearance in Angel Heart, which she had nothing to be ashamed of in that scene, if you ask me. But that's just my dirty old man talking, even though I was a much younger man when I saw it. And as we're talking about Hollywood heroes, Mr. Cosby has nowhere to talk or criticize anyone or anything. But anyway, she's still under contract. He wants her off the show, so they give her a spin-off because they're gonna have to pay her anyway. I'm pretty sure most of all this is true, but we'll have to talk about it more later. But anyway, and he says news to me, Bob. So we'll take that as a definite maybe. Uh, but anyway, uh, the Lisa Bonet stuff I do know is true. And Tug says Thresh is in the fun mood tonight. I am. I don't have to work tomorrow. I have a long weekend. Um, the office is closed on Monday. So I actually get a day off with pay. Do you know how many years it's been since I've had a day off with pay? I mean, when you're in hospitality, you can take days off. What are they gonna do? Just figure out what your tips would have been and pay you? So it's like you take a day off, it's just you eat the loss or don't eat that week, either way. But yeah, I finally have a job where I actually get days off with pay, like an adult. I'm so proud of myself. But anyway, yeah, Indy, that may just be anecdotal. Some of my best stories are anecdotes. Some of my best anecdotes are anecdotes. And some of the best ones never actually happened. By the way, moving forward, yes, the correct answer is Shirley. Surely you jest. I don't jest, and never call me Shirley. Moving forward, number two. In the What's Happening universe, oh, I'm sorry, I'll come in again. I couldn't read my own handwriting. What? How? I thought I was in Cantonese again. What? How? Cheche Loban? What? How? Cheche Loban? OMG. All right, I'll come in again. In the What's Happening universe, what show was once featured? Was it A, The Gong Show, B, Soul Train, C, The Ed Sullivan Show, or D, Community Auditions? And I shall repeat. In the What's Happening universe, what show was once featured? A, The Gong Show, B, Soul Train, C, Ed Sullivan, or D, Community Auditions? Give you guys another second. Doug said that gummy must have been strong, and I thought for a second I was that Thrash was speaking Chinese. Well, Cantonese specifically, but the judges will give it to you. Oh, and Brogu says, "You got a day off with pay. Don't let the man know this. It's more the woman I'm worried about." And Cindy says that was cute little singing kids group was featured. Well, yes, Cindy. I forget the name of the group, but they sang "Bubbly Brown Sugar," and I actually love the rendition of it. Every now and then you can find it on YouTube. It's usually taken down, but I always thought they had a great rendition of it. There's other renditions that you can find from time to time, but it's a very very catchy song. Never really mastered the words, but yes, it is the Gong Show. It's on the Gong Show, and I see what had happened was I had initially written um, game show. And since Soul Train and Ed Sullivan were in game shows, it would have given people an unfair advantage. So I scribbled out game show. But when I did that, it left only the letters how. So it said, I crossed out the S for the show. So it said, what, how? What, and of course, as you guys know, in Cantonese, how means good. Kenny Cook how. Anyway, the correct answer is A, the Gong Show. And number one, and wow, this one's been a toughie tonight, huh, folks? But number one is Danielle's hiatus from the series was due to what? Was it A, a mountain climbing accident, B, a skiing accident? I suppose those could be the same things. C, a car accident, or D, filming a Pepsi ad? I'll come in again. Danielle's hiatus from the show was due to what? Was it A, a mountain climbing accident, B, a skiing accident, C, a car accident, or D, filming a Pepsi ad? Oh, Johnny Orchard is here. Johnny Orchard. Johnny Orchard. How I love you. So good to see you, my man. You must have snuck in. Sorry you missed the trivia, but it was kind of a wild ride. Johnny Orchard said, Coke, Coke, no Pepsi. Only Coke. No, no Coke, Pepsi. Pepsi. I need that. I dropped my hat. Here, I'll use this one. Pepsi. And I can't see. It was worth it. So yeah, my favorite is what this one, if I remember correctly, where the guy asked for a hamburger and he goes, "No hamburger, cheeseburger. Just make me a cheeseburger and don't put the cheese on it." Or at least we invented it. But it's funny. It's funny. No Coke, Pepsi. Oh, and by the way, you know why that restaurant and a lot of others didn't have fries? They only had chips as a side and not French fries. Need a deep fryer for the French fries, and it's a pain in the ass when you're a line cook, and you can get badly burned. So it's so much easier and it takes up so much less space to just have one of those little chip clips on the counter. You want a side? Boom! Here you go, potato chips. Mm. That's why Subway doesn't have fries. You know, they said, "Well, why doesn't Subway have fries?" That's why. Where was I? Cindy says with her stepfather. Ew. I didn't see what that question was, but I don't think where it's going. So anyway, so how about some scores, you bores? I could have gone a whole different direction with that. Indy says that depends. Was she filming a Pepsi commercial during her car accident? Thank you. Yes, thank you for all. You also reminded me that I hadn't actually given the answer to that question. Yes, it was a car accident. It was a car accident. The very famous Pepsi commercial was Michael Jackson. He was injured in a uh, Pepsi commercial, and many, many, many people have been injured in mountain climbing accidents and skiing accidents. Skiing, you get killed in skiing accidents, but no, the correct answer is and we already have scores. Car accident. Rachel is 9 out of 10. Keithy says Arby's in the beginning didn't have fries. They had potato. Ooh, knishes. Ooh, yumsy, yumsy. Tug is 5 for 10. He thinks, yeah, man, the colors. It's like so groovy, man. Like that's wow. Anything you say, cool breeze. Gary is 8 for 10. Zubik says, answer to question 1, please. Yes. Car accident. And car accident was give me a second. I just want to make sure I get the line. Yeah, it was C. C for car. Car accident. Number 1, please. Johnny says everyone loves to score. Oh, sorry, wrong question. Cindy says the car accident was in her. Oh, was with her. Okay, I was just trying to be glib anyway, but that was tacky. I mean, I'm terribly sorry. Zerblex was 3 out of 10. Rachel says she was in a coma for a bit. Her stepdad died in that accident. Oh, I didn't recall that. I didn't recall that. Brugge says, here you go, potato chip sucker. Teb is 5 for 10. Tug says, LOL, John. Watch me to 7 for 10, I think. Brogu is 7, I believe. Cindy's 8 out of 10. Johnny Rich says, hey, Tug, love your shorts. Keep them up. Yes. The Bermuda shorts are very nice. And your short video posts on YouTube are excellent. Doug says, yeah, man. Wow. Like, wow, man. Crazy. Indy says, pretty sure I got some right. I'm sure you did too, man. I'm sure you did too. And I'm sure I got some wrong. So Zublik says, how did your brother-in-law doing? How is my brother-in-law doing? He's actually, it was very sad story. So he was supposed to have a procedure today. Yes, I know, Sunday and Labor Day weekend. So kind of fairly important, you would think. There was some issue with the paperwork and they had to postpone it. So we're kind of like he's doing my wife talked to him earlier today. I talked to him a couple of days ago. Very very tired, very run down, but he's holding up. He's in good spirits. I've been running some errands with him. My wife's been running some errands for him. He's holding on, and I want to thank you guys very, very, very much. I will pass that on to Mrs. Thrash. You guys are wonderful. That's very kind of you to ask. Thank you. And Tug, yeah, Tug says, "Don't worry, I'll keep my shorts up." Thank you, John. Keithy says, "It was just a pleasure to play. Don't ever ask these questions again." LOL. I won't. I won't. I never did the same contest twice. So he says she became a veterinarian. Yes, I did know that. I did know that. And Gary says the kid from Willy Wonka became a vet. Which one? And so he says, "Oh, the star. I mean, I believe you." And so he says D was a vet as well. I thought we were talking about D. Well, and Zublik says, "Send him my best regards." I will. Zublik, you know what? I will do that. Gracias, gracias, hermano. And Indy says, the paperwork issue is is that what the doctor wanted a 3-day skiing weekend? No, there was something. There was my wife explained it to me. There was some issue with scheduling. They thought the room was available and it wasn't, and it was a righteous mess. To be honest, I think they just didn't want to do it on a Sunday of Labor Day weekend. I think you actually might be onto something. But supposedly the proper scheduling for the hospital wasn't done, and now we have to wait. And a hospital, it's not like the DMV where if you ask nicely, they'll squeeze you in. Hospitals don't, you know, they should, because by golly, if that room's open and there's somebody available, it's because it's not like it isn't life or death, you know? Mhm. But yeah, if you get an accommodation at the DMV where they don't care, you should be able to get an accommodation at a hospital where on paper they care. Paper. Oh, and a little bit of gossip. I shouldn't even tell you this, but I'm going to because I can't resist gossip. His ex girlfriend is like head nurse on one of the floors. I did not make that up. No, this girl he was dating forever ago. I think when I first met him, they've been broken up for forever. But anyway, yeah, when they had to go in for some tests, he saw her, and they do that thing where he pretended he didn't recognize her, and she pretended that she didn't recognize him. And well, that's all the gossip I got for you guys tonight. Oh, good to hear, Thrash. Thank you. And Texas bureaucracy is the bane of our existence. All best sincerely, thank you. Thank you. Cindy says, keep the faith for your family, Thresh. You are too kind. You are too kind. And by the way, we're talking about Lisa Fields. I think part of the reason we haven't seen her in a while is because, as you guys know, she lost one of her sons. And if you follow her on Facebook, you know she's not taking it great. So, positive vibes for her too, please. Tug says it was the Tuttle, not Buttle. I'm a butler. What do you do? I buttle. Gary says, hope it gets better. Thank you so much. Keith E says, from experiencing and training, don't ever go to a hospital on a Sunday, especially a holiday weekend. You know what? I'm going to take that as a visitation, Keith E. I'm going to take that. It was probably a best he didn't go in this weekend, huh? Huh? We'll get him in hopefully the next couple of days, but it's probably just as well he didn't. I'm going to go with you, Keithy. I'm going to tell that to Mrs. Thrash and the rest of the fam. Keithy says, good video, good vibes, Thrash. Good vibes and good videos. Thank you very much. Zublik says, you're welcome. And Emily says, I just got back. Sorry, I missed the last of the trivia. I get a call from my son. I hope your son is doing well, by the way. Don't worry. We all just kind of crashed and burned towards the end. Cindy says, only in emergencies, yes. And Tug says, ooh, fun drama. Yeah, you did miss the drama, Emily. So go back and hear my gossip, please. Ooh, drama. I said when I worked at the video store, I'd say, hey, man, we already have a drama section. Ha, dun, dun, dun. Gary says, if I want gossip, I'll ask Gladys Kravitz. It's our nickname for our daughter. And John says, so he's going to end up on one of those shows. It's always the X. Could be, could be. Emily says, Cindy, I haven't seen a doctor in over 5 years. I can go another day or so. Emily says, that must have been a very uncomfortable. Life is very uncomfortable. Cindy says, or Gene Dixon. Emily says, my condolences to Lisa. Yes, definitely, definitely. Very sad. And Gary says, I haven't had any doc in a while. I have my physical on the 18th, and I'm looking forward to it. He's going to tell me to lose weight. Tug says, there is no taking it well for something like that. My heart bleeds for, indeed. Teb says, condolences to Lisa and her family. Gene Dixon, Cindy Gene Dixon, yeah. And Teb says, happy Labor Day weekend. Happy Labor Day to you as well, by the way. And everyone. And Cindy says, I'm going this month. Emily Miller, my daughter, is pushing me since my twin sister. Oh, yes, I'm very sorry for your loss. And Gary says, Lisa, if are watching, we're thinking about you, most definitely. And Indy says, watching Coma has inspired me to avoid hospitals for 47 years. Ooh, oh, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. Um, Tom Selleck, speaking of Tom Selleck, which we were about an hour ago, Tom Selleck has a walk on, or in his case, a can't walk on in that movie. And Emily Miller says, as well as you, Cindy. And Cindy says, I don't know the spelling, LOL. Carrie, no worries. I'm a bad reader. And Tug says, I said that backstage on my show today, I don't do drama here. This is usually sci-fi. But and Gary says, Indy, good for you. And I've never seen that movie. It's not bad. I heard the book was better. I guess my dad and my mom read the book independently because they weren't speaking to each other at the time. But I believe both Mama Thrash and Dada Pons I'm running out of nicknames. Both read the book and both enjoyed. If I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, or at least one of them did. Someone read it. That was Michael Crichton, wasn't it? I forget. Anyway, skimming down. Emily says, I haven't had a mammogram or a colonoscopy. I'm overdue for one of those. I got one of those in October. It's such a pain in the ass. And I bet you all know the test that I've been pushing Mrs. Thrash to have. Nobody say it in the comments. We all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she's overdue for one of them too. I mean that. That's gross. Don't say that. Doug said, hang on. Rachel says good night to everyone. Everybody's saying good night to Rachel. Rachel says good night. So good to see you. So good to see you, Rachel. Take care. We'll see you next week. And then he says the book was indeed better. There you see. Confirmed. And Tug says, I just learned that the Danish euphemism for menstruation is there are communists in the funhouse. Colorful. I can't just sit on that info, so you're welcome. I would be more hurt if you did. Teb says, have a great night, Thrash. You as well, by the way. Take care, Teb. Tug and Teb. Oh, it was Michael Crichton. I was right. Thank you. Yes, thank you. And he says, Robin Cook wrote it. Michael Crichton directed. Aha! Aha! Michael Crichton did write science fiction books. He wrote the 13th Warrior, which was known in the book form as Eaters of the Dead. So he did write, but that's why I was probably gray on that one. So he says, LOL, Thrash. And Emily says, I'm terrified of being put to sleep. I'm terrified of waking up. And I think I'm caught up, other than people just sort of having fellowship with one another. Gary says, I am too. Hey, I was actually put out with an anesthesia and I died. So trust me, I am with you, folks. I am with you. Keith, he says, so are most schnauzers, Emily. And Emily says, haven't had a pelvic exam in over 5 years. I'm pretty sure everything is still there, though. Oh, BK on the air is here. BK, he says, hey, buddy, just got back from seeing Jaws in 4K for 50th anniversary. Fantastic. Oh, the shark has pretty deep. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. Mrs. Thrash is back. She's still alive, everyone. They all said hello, by the way. Barry. I was just talking about you to the missus, by the way. You put out an open invitation for any of the Retropalooza gang to be on your show sometime. I would love to be on one of your radio spots again in the not too distant future. I believe I still have your information in my phone. Maybe we can set something up for maybe later on this month or next month, maybe for Halloween. But I'll be in touch. Anyway, BK, love you. Somebody please give Barry a link in the comments below. I love people saying hello. Oh, Indy says thanks for the trivia. And Indy, thank you as always. Thank you for playing. It's really fun having you with us for the trivia. And Gary says, I haven't had no kind of exam since my dad. Oh, I'm sorry, man. And Tug says, but what if there are communists, Emily? And a lot of people saying, "Little Mrs. Thrash" yet again. And Emily says, "BK, speaking of sharks, I haven't had that well in a long time." And Gary says, "Oh, hi to Mrs. Thrash." And Emily says, "Tug, why would I have communists in the air?" It's an expression. I have bats in the belfry. And the silver spoon, little boy blue, and the man on the moon. Oh, and he's given me a thumbs up. So excellent. And that looks like a jack-o'-lantern or a smiley face with a really weird smile. But thank you. That's awesome. So I will be in touch. And Emily says, toys in the attic. Wasn't it Flowers in the Attic? Wasn't that a really, really, really raunchy horror movie, Flowers in the Attic? And it's funny too, because for some reason, and I've actually talked to Dream Analysis about this. In my dreams, I am terrified of attics. For some reason, whenever I dream and where there's an attic, I don't even like to look. If you open the door to an attic, I don't even look at it. For some reason, I'm terrified of attics. I don't like basements, but I hate attics. According to dream analysis, they say that there's some truth I don't want to look at. I'm like, pick one. But toys in the attic, flowers in the attic, bats in the belfry. This is where we came in. Maybe you should be writing some of this down. Keithy says, I guess that's better than bats in your belfry. This is again where we came in. And the silver spoon. Gary says, I'd rather have the bats. And Johnny Orchard said, Toys in the Attic was an Aerosmith album. It was. It was an Aerosmith album. Thank you. Thank you. And Emily Miller says, I would prefer the toys. The book was way too blanked up for me. Yeah. Flowers in the Attic it's messed up. It is. It's ew. It's an ew. And Keithy says attic, as opposed to rabbit. And Doug says, I prefer flowers for Algernon. You know, I was actually talking with Terry Talks Movies about that. And the thing that bothered him most about that is that when Cliff Robertson becomes smart, he becomes an asshole. And I understand ignorance is bliss, and I understand he didn't realize how mean people were being to him when he was stupid because he was stupid. But the fact that when he becomes smart, the first thing he does is become an asshole. It's like, why would that be the next step? It's like it doesn't affect his sense of empathy. It doesn't affect, his humanity. It just and I'm like, that's a very, very good point. I don't think that's kind of what they were getting at, but it's a very good point. And for those of you who like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, watch Flowers for Charlie. It's probably the funniest episode they ever did, next to Family Fight. Next to Family Fight. And Zublik says, I am terrified of serial killers. Well, I can't blame you for that. Gary says, attics and basements don't bother me, just heights. I'll buy that. I thought you were going to say I'm afraid of ground floors. actually, there are people who don't like ground floors because they're afraid people could look in. And I must confess, I'm one of those people who have always been comfortable with second floor bedrooms. Not that people ever look at me when I sleep, but I did catch that clown clocking on my mother when I was a much younger man. And I remember being really disappointed when he got away. And then looking back later and saying it's probably just, well, I didn't catch him. And that's what I'm going to say on that matter. Roomba, bapa, yeah. What do you mean says, I would be too super. And he says, only in my dreams, as real as it may seem. My wife was just talking about Debbie Gibson the other day. That's weird that you would say that. And Zublik says, they ruin it for everybody, right, Waj? And Emily says, Zuplex there's no common MOD. I am still considered a serial. I mean, they considered a serial killer? Maybe. Gary says, I really dream. I dream all the time. And I didn't have very vivid, wild, what they call linear dreams, where because usually like, people will dream something and then it will go into like something else. It's like boxcars on a train, but mine tend to be related. They say it's because my brain doesn't shut off as much when I sleep with other people, so I try to look for connections in my mind. So what happens is the dreams will somehow all be, no matter how wild they are, will somehow already be somehow connected. I mean, I could be having lunch with Jimmy Stewart and then be abducted by aliens, and in the context of the dream, Jimmy Stewart would be the alien commander. That type of thing. It's weird and can be exhausting because it's like binge watching Netflix. Only things make more sense. Okay, I think I may have gotten behind again, but you know what? Who cares? We're going to be wrapping things up now, as always. I should really check on Mrs. Thrash, make sure she's doing okay. So if I missed anybody's comments in these last couple of minutes, I usually do, so you should be used to it by now. And for a written transcript of tonight's show, get a pencil and paper and start writing things down. I can't do everything for you. And if you guys had half as much fun tonight as I have, then I've had twice as much fun with you. And I think that's just about all the cliches that I normally try to work into these closings. But all kidding aside, I had a blast tonight, folks. You guys were so interactive and so much fun and so just on top of things. We had a lot of the regulars as always, but even some people I haven't seen in a while who are regulars, but just regulars who don't always show up. Which, in my heart, they're still regulars, but just not as consistent. But anyway, I had an absolute blast tonight. Remember, Tuesday I'm going to be on the entertainment headquarters. We're going to talk about 50s and 60s television, mostly 60s. And I believe we left off with Sarah that she is doing a show Thursday, and I will probably be there for that. And I do have some new comment I'm working on. I might try to put it on tomorrow because Mrs. Thrash is working if she can get a bed, and I'm not. But either way, I want to thank all you guys for showing up tonight. Had an absolute awesome time. All of you, be good, be safe, be careful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.